Thanks for joining me again, Capricorn. I'm Dadhichi from astrology.com.au, and I'm looking here at May 2016 for you and your star sign. It's an interesting month. We see, for example, the fast transit of Venus along with the Sun and the retrograde Mercury in your 5th house. It's love affairs, speculation and creativity. Along with, on the 7th, a new moon that's going to really give you some new insights into what it is you want in your personal life and relationships. But I think you're a little bit hamstrung still, and we've talked about that ongoing conjunction of Mars with your ruling planet Saturn in the 12th house, that sort of hidden, secretive house. And Mars is important because it dominates your sector of friendships and fulfillment, along with your domestic circumstances. Some of you may be feeling, how could I put it, not so happy in some of your relationships. But how do you go about telling someone else exactly how you feel for fear of offending them, hurting them, pulling them down? And of course, the additional fear of having them retaliate. That's even worse. That requires some amazing diplomatic skills on your part. After the 7th, when that new moon takes place in the 5th house, we see that you do have an opportunity, but probably not as great an opportunity as when Mercury goes forward direct, because it's in a so-called retrograde motion now until the 22nd. On the 22nd, it also coincidentally goes forward just as we see that full moon in that hidden house of, that secretive house where your ruling planet is right now. So it could be that the new moon throws some light on how you can broach these issues, how you can approach someone and be honest without actually offending them or hurting them. What it also shows is that for some of you, there is the potential to connect with more than one potential partner, and especially for those of you that are single, this can be an awfully difficult situation where you perhaps like two people or more, but can't quite evaluate which one is going to work best for you. That can best take place by, not rushing things and waiting till that full moon in the 12th house makes things much clearer. It also means going back into your past to analyse how your previous relationships went, what you may have been doing wrong in terms of your communication style. We see, for example, that the 9th house of your horoscope, which has a triangular pattern going on with this romance sector, shows that the way you approach things in life generally has changed totally. Many of you really have a completely different philosophy of life. And that's the problem too when we find ourselves in relationships where one partner is evolving much more quickly than the other. That can be a real headbanger. I mean, how do you deal with that? You still love the person, but they're not evolving spiritually, for example, as fast as you. They're not moving in the financial direction that you want them to. They're dragging their feet. And it's almost like you're feeling hamstrung. It's like you're feeling like you're pushing a load of bricks up a hill. And unfortunately, you can't accelerate the evolution of other people. I guess you can teach them through your own example, but if that evolution is lagging way, way behind, then sometimes you have to make the break. In any case, this month to me seems to be indicative of new opportunities opening out in the area of romance. And even if it's not romance, it may just be in terms of your creative style. You may be discovering things about yourself. You want to share that with the person that you love or the friends that you associate with. And if they're sort of looking at you like you've got four heads when you try to broach the topic of where you're opening up and where you're feeling creative now, that's not exactly encouraging. It makes you shut down. And then it brings to the fore that Mars and Saturn frustration that we're seeing in the 12th house. So how do you deal with that? How do you expand? Where is it that you expand? We have to look at that position of Jupiter, which is the principle of expansion. As I said, after the 9th, it moves forward as well. Now, before it finds its way into this self-satisfaction that we're talking about, it's going to make contact with your karmic point, the North Node. And so what that means is, there is in a sense, this period in your life, a connection with your destiny, a real understanding of where you have to be. And unfortunately, you're going to see a lot of things around you, your circumstances, the people, the work, co-workers, the religious views you've held even, all falling by the wayside. So in that sense, that 12th house shows us that this can be a period, in a sense, of private suffering, a sense that you're losing everything, that you're shedding, like a proverbial snake shedding its skin. But that's exactly what has to happen for this new era, this new cycle in your life to commence. I'll be back next month. That was a pretty heavy ending, wasn't it? Think about it anyhow. It's not always heavy. I want you to draw on those creative powers within yourself to get you through this cycle, Capricorn. And I will see you next month, but don't forget, pop in, join us there at astrology.com.au for more. Private readings with myself and some of my associates are always on tap if you need that. Otherwise, I'll see you here next month. Take care now. Bye-bye.